I like how you're like teleporting. You're static, you're kind of running in place, and then you teleport
Yeah,
real quick.
this is why I don't co-op very often.
No, you don't co-op very often because you have no friends.
There's that.
I'm just waiting for my boyfriend to go, come on now, stop it. But he's too busy with Monster Hunter.
And then Lawrence is like, boyfriend! Just doesn't bother fighting.
That's it, I'm leaving. Like, we show up and he's just not there anymore.
Waste of my time! Fuck this!
I went to the challenge dungeons for this?
Meet Yharnam, her boyfriend is Erden. I can't compete with that. He's literally ascended to a higher plane of existence.
So, on a recent podcast that we did called Everything About the Moon Presence, Victor asked, what is the deal with the Madaras whistle, and why does a giant serpent-like creature come out of the ground? It's just bizarre, unless it's some sort of link loosely to the serpents from Dark Souls, but I doubt it. So I figured we could talk about the Madaras snake and
Yep.
stuff surrounding it.
Okay.
So Madaras is a surname of the two twins who were BFFs with the snake, right?
Yeah. They're twins, but they're called the older and younger. So is they older by like a minute or?
Yeah. So could you tell me about the twins?
Well, there are two of them, as befits twins, possibly not actually twins, who grow up in Forbidden Woods with a gigantic snake. And they are butchers and they feed... No, they're butchers, and the residents of Forbidden Woods are curious about the beasts that are coming from Yharnam. So they start hacking up beasts and then feeding it to the Madaras Twins snake after they've hacked them up. Mm-hmm. Because the beasts from Yharnam have the vermin in them, the snake starts developing vermin. And when that happens, the older brother kills the snake.
Does he kill the snake?
Because it's either the older or the younger. One of the brothers kills the snake because it's getting filled with vermin.
Wait.
And then when the... Yeah.
Sorry. They kill the snake? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because here it says, when they discovered vermin, even in their beloved snake, the younger brother is said to have murdered the older?
What about the whistle though? I think the whistle says that they killed it. Oh no, it just says even after their deaths, yeah.
Did I just school you in some lore, Richard?
Yeah, I'm guessing, okay, so the snake's dead. We don't know.
Well, we all die at some point. Genius.
Yeah. Okay, so the snake dies, and then I had assumed that the older brother had killed the snake, and then the younger brother had killed the older brother in reprisal. But I guess we just imagined that. We can still assume that happened though, because the snake is dead and it doesn't say how.
Maybe it died of natural causes.
Maybe. Anyway, the snake dies, and then the snake dies somehow, and then the younger brother kills the older for some reason.
Sorry,
maybe he's mad about its diet.
Sorry, but it says here. Gosh darn it! Let me find the item. When they discovered vermin, even in their beloved snake, the younger brother is said to have murdered the older. What does the vermin in the snake have to do with the younger brother killing the older one?
That's why I assumed that one of them had killed the snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
So, something happens to the snake. We've revised our take on it from they killed the snake to the snake dies to something happens to the snake.
Wait, what if it means... Sorry. You know how some people say that vermin is just something you see when you go mad? What if that just means that, like, one of the brothers went mad, and so he started seeing vermin and then killed the other one?
Would you want to talk about what the vermin in the snake might be, though?
Okay, let's talk about the vermin and
Okay.
snake.
So, like, in Forbidden Woods, there's a ton of snakes. I don't know if you noticed that.
Not really.
It can be easy to miss the snakes in Forbidden Woods, but there are several.
I don't know. I'll have
Yeah,
to play
yeah.
through it again.
Well, you gotta be very, very careful to find the snakes in Forbidden Woods.
Is it like a hidden secret, like in old school games?
Well, it's because Forbidden Woods is quite a short and easy to navigate area that most people just run through without really noticing what's around them. But if you pay attention, it's actually fucking enormous and convoluted and confusing, and there's snakes everywhere that poison you.
Go on.
So, like, the really big snakes in Forbidden Woods, they have, people were calling them, like, stone scales on them. But those are actually ticks. Snakes can get ticks like any animal can. And what happens is the ticks kind of, like, stick into them and they swell up, like a tick does. And the snake can't get the ticks off because it doesn't have limbs. So the big snakes in Forbidden Woods that have those, like, weird growths on them, those growths are ticks. And if you see a snake in real life that's got ticks, it looks exactly like that. So I think the idea is, like, the vermin in the snake are the ticks.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you need to, like, expand the definition of vermin slightly, because I'm pretty sure that the maggot things that jump out of silver beasts and that are inside the bloodletting beast are also vermin.
Right, yeah.
Right. So, which, I mean, doesn't gel with Valtr saying that you need the rune to see it, but I mean, I don't. I think they changed their mind about something at some point.
If you're curious about that, we have an hour-long podcast with Herbert West that I will link in the comments.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I think the big snakes in Forbidden Woods have the ticks on them. And that's probably what happened to the Madaras Twins snake, that it started getting those ticks on it. Those were the vermin that were in the snake.
Sorry, and those ticks came from them, the snake eating beast people?
Because it was eating beast entrails, so it ended up full of beast blood.
Right.
Right. So what happens is that the snake dies somehow. But they had a whistle that they called to the snake with, because they grew up in, like, they were its friend. Like, I think it raised them or something, like Romulus and Remus and the wolf.
It seems to imply that it's like they were in solitude or something.
Yeah, and it says that it was like a silent kinship. Like, they were like wild children raised by a snake.
So what do you think happened to their parents?
I don't know. It's like Yharnam. They probably died.
Sorry, is this happening, the Madaras Twins thing, is this happening during Bergenworth time or Healing Church time?
Well, it has to have happened after the Healing Church because they're feeding the snake beasts.
Right.
And, like, the vermin and stuff, beast outbreaks and vermin don't happen until after Lawrence founds the Healing Church.
Is that during the choir time then?
No, it'd be before the choir, because it looks like the choir don't form until after. Like, it's kind of... It looks like the choir don't form until after Lawrence disappears and after the research hall goes to shit.
Because they're like orphans.
Yeah, this is one of the few hints that a timeline you get, is that the choir are recruited when they're orphans. So they have to have been... It has to have been around, like, 20-ish years. At least, because the choir are all adults now.
Right.
I think the idea is that when Lawrence disappears and they realize that the Healing Church is kind of fucked up, they turn to the choir as their new, like, brains trust, yeah.
Did you just burp?
I tried not to.
We've talked about this, Richard.
I tried... Look, if you want to talk to me first thing in the morning, you're going to have to deal with the fact I'm chugging Red Bull.
Didn't we have a talk about this? You should be drinking good and healthy coffee.
I should, but then we would have to start like an hour later.
Or you could just wake up an hour earlier.
Should.
I wanted to ask you something. You mentioned it about...
Are we still talking about the snake?
We're talking about the whistle.
Okay, the whistle, yeah.
It says here the poisonous snake grew uncontrollably. Wait, no, that's not what I want to read. Sorry, I want to read something else. I'm stupid.
Okay.
Uh, okay, so in the Butcher Trousers, it says that both the twins became hunters and brought back and dissected their beast prey in order to support the villagers in their forbidden research. So they were
Yeah.
helping the villagers in the Forbidden Woods in research, and the snake was like a toxic disposal type deal?
Yeah, the snake was basically just used to clean up the meat that was left over. Like, they just fed it to the snake. I remember talking about that line with Mai, and she said that research isn't really the best word for that. That it's more like, because research implies like a kind of academic
Yeah.
inquiry. It's more like they were just curious about what was happening.
Oh, well, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because beasts are appearing and they don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah, because research makes it seem like they're literally connected to Bergenworth or
Yeah,
Healing Church or
yeah,
whoever. So I guess the villagers were on their own and they were just
yeah.
curious.
They're not. Yeah, yeah. They just like these beasts suddenly start appearing and they're curious about what they are, so they start bringing them back and cutting them open and seeing what's going on.
And then feeding that to the snake.
Yeah, and then they fed it to the snake afterward.
Awesome.
There's that big pit also in the woods in the village, and I'm wondering if maybe like the snake used to live there and they just throw the stuff down.
Like where you fight the shadows of Yharnam?
No, like you know where the actual village is,
Uh-huh.
where the houses are. There's
Yeah.
like a huge pit trap in the middle of town.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder if like maybe the snake lived in that, and they would just live in the hole, and they'd
No,
throw
it
these.
didn't.
Okay.
It would be too small. It was way bigger. I think where it lived is where we fight the shadows of Yharnam because there's like a lot of corpses there, so they could have fed it there. And then that's where we meet it for the first time, right?
The snake.
Yeah.
Well, the people in Forbidden Woods have snakes coming out of their body.
No, but I mean the actual snake from the nightmare, the whistle snake.
Do you think the snakes in the nightmare and the snake like parasite that's infected the people are the same snake?
I have no idea. Are you going to tell me?
I think it's all the same snake.
How so?
Because it says that the snake is in the nightmare waiting to be called, right?
Yeah.
And then and the thing is, it scales with blood tinge. The whistle, it doesn't scale with arcane. So it's like, it it becomes stronger the more powerful your blood is. And as far as the game is concerned, like, high blood tinge is more kind of Thumerian.
Right.
Like, it means your blood is of a higher quality. I think in Japanese it's literally called blood quality, not blood tinge. But the idea is, like, the snake is hungry for blood, and if you've got good quality blood, then it's stronger. Because I guess it's, like, more aroused by the stench of the blood or something.
No, what I'm saying is that we first meet the whistle snake in the place where we fight the shadows of Yharnam, and there are like a bunch of corpses there, or a bunch of skeletons there. So maybe that's where it lived, because it's so huge.
I think those were probably dug up from the chalices, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there's two distinct parts to Forbidden Woods. There's the first part, which is the village. And then as you leave the village, you're going progressively further down. And that's where you start running into all the gravestones. And you go to Bergenworth. And that's like excavation. Because Bergenworth are trying to get to the Chalice Dungeon, so they're digging up parts of the ground.
Yeah.
That's why, like, the way you get into Bergenworth, there's all these huge tombstones sticking out of the ground, and there's corpses everywhere. And if you look at the Bergenworth fence, there's like skeletons in the fence. Because they're just like bodies that were buried in there, and then they became part of the fence.
I see.
Yeah. No, not became part of the fence, but like that's like a body that's underground. That's like,
Yes,
as they've
I
dug
got
up,
it,
they've
Richard.
uncovered. Yeah. I didn't want people to think that there was like I was saying that a dead body got stuck in a fence after it was made. That would be ridiculous.
That would be as ridiculous as gargoyles being hunted and mounted on cathedrals.
No, I'd say it's more ridiculous than that.
I don't think anything's more ridiculous than that. And then worn as suits by the Knights of Kareem. So you mentioned that the snake comes from the nightmare when it's called upon by the
Yeah.
whistle?
Yeah.
How did it
Yes.
get into the nightmare?
It must have died.
But why did it go into the nightmare when it
Because
died?
it's full of vermin.
But all dogs go to heaven, Richard.
It's a snake, not a dog.
Okay. And I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, but you told me like way back in the day, months ago, when you were like, I'm writing about the
Forbidden
Forbidden
Woods.
Woods. Yeah, I'm going to release a
Yeah.
video soon, 17 years ago.
Yeah.
You mentioned
The good
that.
old days.
Yeah, you mentioned that the snake is in people's blood or something.
Right, that's what I was saying about its scaling with blood tinge. Because it seems to be attracted to blood that's very pure and like strong. So in Forbidden Woods, because they haven't had beast blood like given to them, apart from the like, there's some who clearly have, but like the people who turn into the snakes, they don't have the standard Yharnam like physiology. Like they don't. They just look like people with bags on their heads. They don't have distended limbs or anything. So it looks like they were not they were not heavy users of old blood. So their blood must be like quote unquote stronger than Yharnam blood because it's not all corrupt and full of vermin.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess like the snake is in the nightmare, and it's like kind of like how Erden is localized around Erden Chapel. The snake is localized around Forbidden Woods. So it's finding people who have strong blood and kind of manifesting in them. And that's why it's breaking through those bag-headed guys, and then that's why it takes over the Shadows of Yharnam. Because the Shadows of Yharnam are Pthumerian. So they have really, really good blood. So that's why it takes over them, and they're able to summon like a much, much bigger version of it, because it's using them as a conduit.
Oh, so you think the snake is controlling the shadows of Yharnam?
Yeah, because what happens is, like, you damage them, and then at half hit points, they kind of like double over and like they're in pain. And then the snake bursts out of them. So it's like the snake is taking over them and controlling them in the same way it's controlling the humans in Forbidden Woods.
Huh.
Because when you meet the shadows later on, they don't do that. Like the shadows in the Nightmare of Mensis.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, they don't ever turn into snakes. So I'm guessing like the snake is taking them over.
Well, that's smarter than what I thought. I thought they just found a whistle. They were like, what does this do? They were very curious shadows.
The whistle's great because you can kill yourself with it.
I know. Oh my god, when we were co-oping with my boyfriend, he'd be like, stand here, and then he would like whistle and the snake would eat me.
It's very mean of him.
I know. What a piece of shit.
It's just like you're annoyed with him and you take it out on me.
Oh yeah, 24/7,
Yeah,
100%, bro.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
That explains everything. Oh, so I wanted to ask you a couple of more things about the twins.
Okay.
Um, they wear the butcher set.
They do.
Does it mean they were butchers by profession at some point, or does it point to cannibalism like in the other Souls games?
I think they're probably butchers because, like, if they're helping the people in Forbidden Woods with their research, then they would probably cut the beasts open with their axes.
So they're like butchers by day and hunters by night.
I don't even know what it really means by butcher because I don't know if Forbidden Woods like has a butcher's shop in it. Like, do we want to talk about how there's other people who wear that set?
Oh, really? Like who?
You know that the low part of Yharnam with the cramped streets that you go through after you beat the bloodletting beast, blood-starved beast. There are unique Yharnamites down there who are wearing the butcher's set. There's only like 2 or 3 of them, and they have a dog with them, and they just patrol the streets down there. And this was before, like this was always there. It wasn't added with the Old Hunters patch.
Oh, sorry, you mean that one little street? The one that you really like?
Yeah, that area. Yeah,
That one. Okay,
That's-
right. Yes, I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. They wear the butcher set, but they're the kind of half transformed Yharnamites, so they have all this fur sticking out the side.
Hmm. What does that mean? Does it mean there's a butcher shop there?
I don't know. I don't know what the deal with it is. That whole area is very strange because there's like a brain sucker as well, and
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. And since they're using the axe, is the axe the equivalent of a Dark Souls butcher's knife?
I guess.
Go on.
I guess.
I was hoping you'd have something more.
Well, I don't know. In the opening CG movie of Bloodborne, you can see the hunter use the sword spear to like cut a body open, almost.
Yeah.
So maybe like they were, I don't know. I guess you could perform a very crude autopsy with an axe.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to ask you earlier when you were talking about the twins. The younger one is connected to Valtr's questline?
Yeah, the younger one is a member of the League. And if Valtr dies as a result of your quest line, the younger Madaras twin will spawn outside where Valtr is and he'll be hostile. And the thing is, if you kill him there, you can't summon him. Whereas if you leave him alive, he's summonable for the Shadows of Yharnam and for Ludwig.
Why did the younger twin join the League?
It just says that they joined the League. I guess because the League are dedicated to expelling vermin. So if the younger one had gone crazy because the snake had got vermin in it, then it would make sense for him to join the League.
What?
What?
If the younger one has gone crazy because the snake had vermin in
if
it?
the younger one went crazy because the snake had vermin in it, then it would make sense for him to join the League because the League's job is to stamp out vermin.
How do we know he went crazy?
Because he killed his brother.
According to you, sir.
No, that's according to the game. According to me, they killed the snake. This is so confusing. Why did there have to be two of them?
Couldn't there just be one?
And like
twin?
when I'm like, that's why. Oh yeah, that's the evidence that he killed his brother. And I'm like, no, it just says he killed his brother. Fuck. Oh. Whenever a character in a video game suspiciously has an identical twin, I'm always like, something went wrong here, didn't it? Like the worst ever PS2 game ever made is an FPS called Demon Summoner.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Devil Summoner, which is good. It's called Demon Summoner, and like you halfway through you like beat the villain, and then it's like, oh, he has a twin brother. And it's like, I think you only had one model, didn't you? So we'll just have you fight the same boss twice and claim they're twins.
They should have done that for the Soul of Cinder.
Oh. We should stream Demon Summoner because it's very Bloodborne-esque.
Oh, really?
If you imagine someone like over a weekend decided that they would remake Bloodborne as an FPS in Unity. And then gave up after level 1, that would be Demon Summoner.
I'm game. I think it sounds like a wonderful game.
It's great. It's an FPS where you have to kill zombies. And the zombies have this damage system where if you shoot different parts of their body, that will come off.
Oh, that's
like you
cool.
can blow their legs. No. But the thing is, if you shoot them in the head, it doesn't do anything because the head just comes off and they just keep attacking you. So the way that you beat the game is you shoot them in the foot. Because then they fall over and can't move.
It's called
and
strategizing, bro.
They just lie on the ground waving their arms, and that's how you kill the zombies in Demon Summoner. It was a PAL only release for the PS2, which is always a mark of quality because the PS2 was a fountain of terrible PAL only releases. And there's part that I was stuck on for like an hour where your girlfriend becomes a vampire and you have to chase her through a city, and I had no idea what I was supposed to do.
Sounds amazing.
It's pretty great. And on the back of the box, it's like there's 8 different weapons. And what it actually means is every level gives you a different weapon. Like by default, you get 1 weapon per level. And there's 8 levels. So if anyone out there with a PAL PS2 wants to play literally the worst PS2 game I've ever played, you can probably pick up a copy of Demon Summoner for about $2. That's how much mine cost.
Oh, man. Okay.
Back to the Madaras Twins.
Back to the Madaras Twins. So why do you think the younger brother is summonable for Shadows and Ludwig?
The younger brother's because Valtr is summonable for Ludwig, so it makes sense that the younger brother would be with Valtr.
And Shadows?
Well, no, he's in the Valtr area because that's where the older brother's like corpse is in the Hunter's Nightmare.
Okay, right.
So I'm guessing you're summoning him like on the spot where he killed his brother.
So there's nothing like personal against the Shadows of Yharnam or Ludwig.
Well, no, Shadows of Yharnam is because they're in the woods.
Well, a lot of people are in the woods.
But like it makes Henrik's there as well. So I guess like the League just are willing to defeat the Shadows of Yharnam because they're in the woods. You could say like maybe it's personal because the snake is possessing the Shadows of Yharnam, but I think it's just because they're in the woods.
Okay. Oh, you know the butcher garb is said to belong to the older of the two?
Yeah.
Is it possible?
Because that's whose body you find.
Yeah. Is it possible the younger one wasn't actually a butcher and just stole his older brother's getup?
Well, then why do we have it? Also, like, there's those guys in Yharnam who are also wearing it, so it's probably not a unique uniform. Do we want to talk about why he spawns when Valtr dies?
Let's talk about why he spawns when Valtr dies.
He spawns when Valtr dies as a result of the quest line. But he also spawns, I think, if you just kill Valtr.
Yeah.
So he's just, like, he's there to kill you because he thinks you've killed Valtr.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you just, like, Valtr will die as a result of you giving him vermin.
Yeah.
So if you complete the League thing, Valtr dies, the snake, Madaras twin thinks you killed Valtr. So he then appears to get revenge. Although weirdly, like, you can, if you don't kill him, you can still summon him. So even though he's trying to kill you, you can summon him as a cooperator. And the thing is, like, if you kill him, you can't summon him, which is the opposite of Henrik, and is the opposite of how Valtr works. Because if you kill enough vermin for Valtr to die, you can summon him and he's stronger than normal. And Henrik is summonable only if you kill him. So, like, the younger twin follows different rules for some reason. That, like, if he's dead, he's, I guess, dead forever. He doesn't go on to the nightmare for some reason.
Fascinating. Thank you, Richard.
Yay.
Okay. That I asked. Oh, let me ask you one last thing. Do you think the Madaras twins knew Willem or Lawrence or anyone personally?
What do you mean?
Like, did they ever meet any of the people that are important in the game?
I guess they met Valtr.
Well, other than Valtr, obviously.
They met the snake.
Other than the snake.
They probably met Henrik. If they're in the League. Weirdly, Gascoigne is not in the League. What's going on?
It's not weird. Everything is explained in my Viola video, you knew.
That's true. It's all explained. Most of my Gascoigne lore experience is just extremely lewd artwork of what he and Henrik did when Viola wasn't watching.
Oh no! No, that's going on the Patreon with pictures.
You'll probably get permission, I'll ask the artist.
No, that's going to the highest tier of patron. Okay, that's it. Thanks so much, Richard.
That's alright. Thank you for asking me on.
Anytime, buddy.
Anytime. Every single week. Fucking do it. Do people know we're recording this like on a different day because you're going on holiday? So we're recording this early.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I guess I could make a note in the beginning.
Because we usually record these on Saturday for you. Friday for you,
yeah.
but we're recording it, on Tuesday for you.
Yeah. Because I'm not gonna be here Friday. Yeah.
Do we want to talk about how we were just on Aegon's thing?
Oh my god, yeah, let's talk about the Aegon.
Yeah, okay. We were on Aegon's Let's Talk Law series.
Yay.
Yay.
It was very exciting.
It was. It was all about Yharnam, our favorite character.
Okay, I love Yharnam.
Yeah.
You don't like him, but it doesn't mean the rest of us don't, Richard.
Okay, here's the thing. If I didn't have to keep talking about Yharnam and answering questions about Yharnam, I'd probably be better disposed toward Yharnam. But we're like, can you explain Yharnam? No. The more you attempt to make sense of Yharnam, the less sense he makes. You know what?
What?
He couldn't even fit through the door to where his throne room is. Like, he physically could not even fit.
He went sideways.
No, he couldn't. Because in order to get to that door, you have to go through an even smaller one. They would have had to, like, knock down a wall and, like, airlift him in there. Do you think he's lonesome Yharnam because he just can't leave? Because he's stuck in the profane capital. He can't physically go out the door.
No, I think what happened was there's a pool of water in his throne room, and as we discussed, surfaces of water are actually portals.
That's true. That's true.
So that's how he got there. Because there's also in Firelink Shrine, when we just start, there's like some water there, remember? But like near the very first bonfire.
Yeah.
So he used that water to get to his throne room.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Thunderbirds?
Is it like a cartoon from the 80s?
No, it was a puppet show from the 60s.
No.
In that one, there was a pool, and the pool would open, and there was like a secret passage under it.
Well, there you go. We solved it.
Yeah, with a rocket in it. So maybe Yharnam, like deploy Yharnam, and then the bottom of the pool opens up, and he goes down a lift. Did you ever see the Dark Souls 2 Fashion Police Invader?
No.
There was an invader in Dark Souls 2 someone made who would invade and then rate your appearance. And then if they didn't like it, they would drop what they think you should be wearing.
That is so cute.
It really is.